Picture a European winter in the 1940s, cold, wet and unforgiving. Soldiers huddle in foxholes, their boots sinking into relentless mud. This mud isn't just dirt, it's a daily enemy, seeping into every seam and stitch. For a soldier, dry feet mean survival. Wet, cold feet can lead to trench foot, blisters and even infection. Boots are more than footwear. They're a lifeline, the difference between moving forward and being left behind. Leather boots, though tough, absorb water, becoming heavy and useless if not cared for. A waterlogged boot chills the foot, saps energy, and can take a soldier out of the fight. The simple act of boot care is a soldier's first defence, more vital than his rifle in the mud and rain. In rare, quiet moments, soldiers meticulously tend to their boots, cleaning and drying them as best they can. Leather is strong, but it's skin. It stretches, warps, and fails when soaked. A failed boot means a failed soldier. That's why boot maintenance is a ritual, a moment of control in chaos. Soldiers know their boots are their foundation, their armour against the elements. The fight for dry feet is a fight for survival. In the mud and cold, it's a battle they can't afford to lose. Leather is ancient, tough and trusted, but it has a weakness. It's porous, like a dense sponge, full of microscopic spaces between fibres. Water seeps in, saturating the leather, making it heavy and soft. As it dries, the water pulls out essential oils, leaving the leather brittle and prone to cracking. Each wet-dry cycle weakens the boot, causing cracks that let in more water and dirt. A cracked boot is a soldier's nightmare, useless and dangerous. The challenge: stop leather from absorbing water, but keep it flexible and strong. Soldiers needed a barrier that repelled water without turning boots into stiff shells. The solution had to work with the leather, not against it. It wasn't just about waterproofing, it was about preserving the boot's life. Every step in the mud was a test of this balance. Soldiers learned that proper treatment could mean the difference between marching and misery. The right care kept boots and soldiers ready for anything. In war, even the smallest weakness could be fatal. The answer was Dubbin, a thick, waxy grease, centuries old and soldier-approved. Dubbin was a simple mix: beef tallow for deep conditioning, beeswax for surface waterproofing, and neatsfoot oil for flexibility. Tins of Dubbin were as essential as ammunition. Tallow soaked into the leather, restoring lost oils and keeping it supple. Beeswax sealed the surface, making water bead and roll away. Neatsfoot oil stayed liquid in the cold, perfect for harsh climates. Together, these ingredients created a powerful all-weather shield. Dubbin didn't just waterproof, it extended the life of boots, keeping them strong and comfortable. Applied right, it transformed ordinary boots into reliable gear for any condition. For soldiers, Dubbin was a small miracle in a tin. Dry, warm feet meant one less thing to worry about on the front lines. Applying Dubbin was a ritual, never rushed, always precise. First, boots were cleaned of mud and left to dry slowly, never near direct heat. Gentle drying preserved the leather's strength. Next, the boots were warmed, just enough to open the pores and make them receptive. Warm leather absorbed Dubbin deeply, ensuring lasting protection. Soldiers worked Dubbin into every seam and stitch, focusing on vulnerable areas. The grease was massaged in with fingers or a rag, using firm circular motions. Seams and welts got extra attention. These were the weak points. After coating, boots sat overnight, letting oils and waxes soak in. In the morning, excess Dubbin was buffed off, leaving a matte, waterproof finish. The result? Boots that were flexible, durable, and ready for another day in the mud. This process was more than maintenance. It was survival. Soldiers knew that well-cared-for boots could mean the difference between marching and misery. In war, every detail mattered, and boot care was never overlooked. Not all boots were smooth leather. Many, like US Army roughouts, had a fuzzy, absorbent surface. These boots resisted scuffs, but soaked up water fast. Standard Dubbin wasn't enough. Soldiers needed a heavy-duty approach. They saturated the rough-out leather with thick wax, then used gentle heat to melt it deep into the fibres. The process was repeated until the leather couldn't absorb more. The result, boots that looked dark and waxy but were nearly waterproof. The wax-matted surface also made boots quieter. An advantage on patrol. This technique turned vulnerable boots into reliable armour against the wet. Adaptation in the field kept soldiers moving, no matter the conditions. War rarely waits for supplies. When Dubbin ran out, soldiers improvised, turning to the cook's tent for animal fat. Bacon grease or beef drippings became makeshift boot treatments. The process was the same. Warm the boots, rub in the fat, focus on seams, let it soak. It was messy and sometimes smelly, but it worked. Bacon grease was prized for its softness, though it could go rancid. Some used machine oil or even candle wax in a pinch, anything to keep water out. These field solutions weren't perfect, but they kept boots functional. Ingenuity and adaptability were as vital as any weapon. In the mud, survival meant making do with whatever you had. Today, we reach for quick-fix sprays to waterproof our shoes. Modern sprays create a thin film, easy but temporary and superficial. They don't nourish leather, and the protection wears off fast. Traditional Dubbin works differently. Fats and oils penetrate deep, keeping leather strong and flexible. Beeswax seals the surface, creating a tough, breathable barrier. This dual action, conditioning inside, protecting outside, lasts far longer. The old ways require more effort, but the results are superior. Boots that are more waterproof, comfortable, and durable. In a world of disposables, this slow ritual preserves what matters. The two soldiers knew their lives depended on it. The lesson endures. Sometimes the best solutions are the ones we nearly forgot. Care for your boots, and they'll carry you through anything.